Because there are so many people entering, I'm not going to start it, which is, something I don't generally do. So that means who's ever at towards the end of the agenda has to do it quicker because our meeting cannot be longer than an hour. Okay, we have had 200 people. We've passed 200 people. So I'm going to go ahead and get this meeting started. I just want to remind everyone that the meeting is being recorded. So let's begin as we do everything at CYO in the name of the Father.
Sister, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. All right, I'd like to get this meeting started. I'm Sister Krista von Borstel. I'm a sister of St. Mary of Oregon from Beaverton.
You went on mute again, sister.
Okay. I guess I better keep an eye on that. My name is Sister Krista von Borstel. I'm a sister of St. Mary of Oregon from Beaverton. I've been with the organization for I'm in my 27th year. And I'd like to begin our evening with prayer. So if we could begin in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Father in heaven, thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for everyone that is gathered in this virtual meeting room. You have protected us throughout the day and have enabled us to wake up this morning. If it were not because of your love for us, we would not be here today. Your unconditional love has enabled us to come to this place when we are healthy and ready to start our meeting. And we thank you, Lord. Let everything that is discussed here bring glory to your name. In Jesus' name, I believe and pray. Amen. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Well, I'd like to begin by thanking you all for your willingness to be a coach in the CYO program. You have no idea the full impact you have on the life of a child. Please take some time and think about the imprint you leave on their little soul. Thank you for all that you do for the youth of our Christian schools. You know, CYO is different from every other youth sport program I have been around. Our basic mission and philosophy includes a place for every child who wishes to participate and a guaranteed mandatory playing time rule that keeps kids in the game and not on the bench. I was watching a parent get into a fight with an umpire in the Midwest this past year, and the TV announcer said, "We need programs for youth where everyone plays and has a chance to participate." I said to myself, yes, that is CYO. Our communities desperately need us to fulfill the mission of CYO. There are plenty of programs to get involved in for kids who are exceptionally talented. The thing I find is that kids from all ranges and abilities like to play in our program because they get to play with their classmates. The important thing is that the coach takes seriously the needs of all the kids. When these kids graduate from grade school, many of them will not play in high school. 75% of them, this will be what they look back on as a sport experience. So coaches, make it a great one. Get them off the bench and into the game. Be a CYO coach. Tonight, if you have a question, please use the chat and ask your question, and we will answer questions in the chat as we move along, or catch it before the end of the meeting if it does not get answered in the chat. Coaches, we need to be examples to the kids, and I say this because in my 27 years of work at CYO, by far the worst examples of sportsmanship have taken place since COVID. This past weekend, we had 3 youth ejected from jamboree games. This is not a good start to the season, and I implore you to talk to your players and remind them of who we are to one another. We are Christian people, and someday many of these kids who go on to play high school and play sports will be playing with one another on the same teams. We are doubling down on penalties to improve the behavior of both our players and coaches. Thank you for taking this aspect of the game seriously and helping us. I would like to thank you again for your willingness to be a CYO coach and to attend to these youth as they have the joy of participating in sports. It really is a wonderful gift that you are giving these kids. I'd like to take this opportunity to quickly introduce the CYO staff who are helping this evening. Aaron Cahill hails from St. Pius X and is our volleyball and basketball director. Aaron was a CYO athletic director back in the day at Our Lady of Sorrows School, and she has been a volleyball and basketball coach as well. Jenna Bass is our CYO director of communications and is in her 12th year at CYO. Kathy Foy is our business director and former athletic director at Our Lady of the Lake. Connor Garcia is our tech guy who makes the magic happen inside the computers. Cheyenne Cunning and Nora Gravengard are in charge of coach certification. I'd like to say a quick word about badges. I employ 2 people to work from September till December just on certification of our 1,200 to 1,500 coaches annually. They make sure the coaches are as safe as we possibly know. They check off that you have taken the American Sport Education course, concussion management, call to protect, signed an annual CYO contract, and most importantly, are background checked annually. After all the work we do to keep our kids and our program safe, any person who hands their badge to another person to coach breaks that chain of safety. We will come down very hard on any person who does this. Further, if you do not have your badge with you, you may not practice or coach at a game. So treat your badge like gold. Do not give it to anyone else to use. Keep it somewhere like your car so it will always be with you. The badges are key to keeping our program as safe as we possibly can. So thank you for helping us do that and for understanding why we make having your badge with you such a big deal. Okay, well, again, God bless you all for what you're going to do this season. And at this time, I would like to turn it over to our development director, Lisa Sanders. She heads up the wonderful Champions of Faith benefit dinner, which is responsible for enabling us to scholarship kids for sports and camp. Thanks to Champions of Faith, no child has been turned away due to inability to pay since 2011 when we started the dinner. So thank you, Lisa. She's going to talk about how your volunteer coaching might be turned into cash for your club. Lisa?
Thank you, Sister. And I just want to echo Sister Chris's thanking all of our wonderful coaches for what you give to the youth in your programs. We're very grateful. And I just wanted to encourage you that you're spending so much time and giving so much of your hours to the program. There's an opportunity with a lot of employers to get your hours matched and have that money go directly to your CYO club. And you could also designate our organization, but you could make it specific to your club as well. And one of the clubs just had $1,400 directed to them because one of their coaches filed for their hours. So I really encourage you within your team, for any volunteers, any coaches, to go ahead and file with your employer if they do matching. And if anyone has any questions, please reach out to me, Lisa S. at cyocamppower.org, and I can help you with that. We have a year-end giving campaign going on right now. So if you're wondering how to share your wonderful generosity, we are in the market along with all the other nonprofits at this time of year, but we would love to have your support at this time. And then the last thing I wanted to say was, we love to get photos from our coaches and from our teams, and we like to feature them in social media or sometimes in an email blast that we might send out. So if you're proud of your team and you have a fun group and you want to take a picture either at a practice or a game, please do that and send your photos to info@cyocamppower.org, because we would love to feature your teams. Thanks very much. On to you, Jenna.
Jenna, you're muted.
Sorry about that, everyone. Anyway, my name's Jenna, and thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to go over some calendar and important dates, but we do have a calendar on our website that everyone does have access to, and it's one of the main tabs on our main page, and it says calendar. So all of our dates are always there for you to go to. I encourage you to share that with your families as well, that information. I send emails to ADs to remind them of important dates, and Erin also sends emails to all of you coaches. But some important dates, just as we're going through here, January 6th is the first Saturday in January, and that's the first game for 3rd through 8th. The Hot Shot and City Tournament forms are due Friday, January 26th, or that's the registration deadline. There are 3 weeks of the city tournament. The 3rd through 4th graders will play February 26th through Sunday, March 3rd. 5th and 6th will play March 4th through Sunday the 10th. And the 7th and 8th graders will play March 11th through March 17th. And once again, all those dates are on our website. Erin will remind you of the CYO High School Nights. It's a great opportunity for you to go and support the local Catholic high schools. And I know that it's always free for the children, the players on that night, and I believe a lot of places for the coaches as well. Just a reminder, we do have this year the Trailblazer CYO night, which is February 13th. There are still some tickets available. They do, because we're doing a great job purchasing them, they do release some to us. You know, they continue to. So hopefully if we continue to buy them, they'll release more to us. And on to our snow contingency. We will send you emails. We will post it on our Facebook. But if there ever is a game canceled to snow, we will get that information out to you via our website. We are on the local TV stations, so you'll see us on the ticker. We'll always send you an email. We'll send it to you. We'll send it to the ADs. And your families as well. But most importantly, if you do not feel safe, then please do not travel. So, but we will get that information out to you. Next is up, John.
All right, I'm going to turn my mic on. All right. Thank you, Jenna. I'd like to thank everyone, all you coaches for being here and for volunteering. Last year I put these on. I didn't have time to do that, but here's my experience as a coach and a commission member. I've got a nice little collection. I'm going to briefly talk about expectations. All of this changed after, I think, the weekend of the 9th, having the 2 jamborees back to back on the 2nd and the 9th, so it kind of changed my focus. Usually I talk about just working with the younger refs and having some understanding of what they're going through. And more like that as an expectation, but I really want to focus on that if at any time your expectation is that these officials are going to be 100% accurate, they are going to get every call right, you're probably not going to have a fun time coaching. We have some younger officials. We have over 50 brand new high school officials for this year. And we use the Jamboree to train them. We also had 2 trainings for them as 3 hours of training. We will do some live training as the season starts as well. If you are a 3rd and 4th grade coach, you will possibly see trainers on site and having trainees that they're working with. The disturbing part for me over the first 2 weekends of the Jamboree was incidents during 3rd grade games. A direct quote from a coach during a 3rd grade game was, "I will not work with refs who do not know what they are doing." This is while they, were on the court with the trainer. The trainer was there and explained to the coaches what would be going on. I'm really concerned, to be honest, and I'm not. It's a national trend towards this abuse, and we're having a hard time getting people to do this, and especially with these kids. Some of them are just scared to be out there. I've had kids tell me already this year that they're frightened because of what their friends have told them. And that starts with you. And I know I'm talking to a small group of individuals. Everybody in here, for the most part, I think is here for the right reasons. But it is very difficult around the country to get people to do this. And so, yeah, I'm asking for your understanding and your patience. But if your expectations are very high, at any level, it's going to be tough. And I will tell you that's, it's not what we're about. We're about participation. We're about competition. But this is CYO, and there's part of the manual that I usually tell my referees to read the basketball section, but I think everybody should read the whole manual to understand what we're about if you don't know. So I'll be getting into some rules later, but I wanted to discuss the expectations for the officials. All right, thanks.
Thanks, John. And Sister covered a lot of this regarding the badges, but just a reminder, if you don't have your badge, you can't coach, and do not share the badges. And also, if you forget your badge and you by chance have a photo of it on your phone, that still is not good enough. So you need to have the actual badge that you wear around your neck. Thank you. Connor?
Yes, so I'm going to talk about Team Sideline briefly. So Team Sideline is basically the way that you can communicate with your parents and players, and you do that through your team site. So all of you should at this point be assigned to a team site. Your ADs came in and registered your teams, so I think you guys are all assigned. In order to access the team site, all you need to do is go to cyocamppower.org, so our website, and you can sign in the top right-hand corner to your account, and then you'll see what team sites you're assigned to. If you sign in and you don't see a team site there, feel free to email me, and we can get that activated. I'm guessing it's just because it's not turned on yet. But once you have that team site activated, you can actually go in and there's a send communication, so you can send out emails to your parents. There'll be contact info there for the parents to also be able to reach out to you. You can set up events, so you can set up like auto email reminders for your practices, for your games. You can put different links on there. You can put announcements. It's kind of yours to do with as you see fit. Some people use it almost exclusively and some people don't use it. It's really up to you how much you use it, but it is a good way to be able to communicate with your families. And I have posted help guide videos on the website under the coaches tab. You'll see there's help guide videos for your team site. So if you want to kind of watch different things that you can do in there, you can watch those short videos, or if you're having any trouble at all, feel free to email me. And with that, so big one is adding jersey numbers. to your rosters. So you can do that through your team site. Basically, you'll log into your team site. You can go to your
Connor, you got muted.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, like I was saying, you adding jersey numbers is another thing you can do in teams, the team sites, and you need to have those in by January 3rd, which is a Wednesday. And to do that, you'll sign into your team site. There's a rosters tab. You'll open that rosters tab, and there's a little edit button next to the player's name, and you can just hit that edit button and then add the jersey number. There's a little spot for the jersey number. And like I said, I have help guide videos on that as well that you can watch. It's about like a minute long, so you can kind of watch that there. But if you're having any trouble, again, feel free to email me.
Okay, I'll take over from there. I'm Erin. I'm the basketball director. I'm going to follow up when Connor was talking about the jersey numbers because I have a really good question in the chat, and I just want to clarify. The jersey numbers are in there, so we know that your players have registered. We know that the players that are supposed to be on the court are on the court, and unfortunately, when there are infractions, we know who number 4 is. We know who number 22 is. So if you have jerseys now and your numbers are going to change, it is your responsibility to make sure that those numbers are changed. So when my commission is out there looking at games and they have rosters and they look up and they see number 3 on the court and number 3 is not on the roster sheet, then that becomes an issue. So enter your jersey numbers in by that first Wednesday. I will be reaching out to all athletic directors like I've done for every season to make sure all the teams are current prior to the first game. And then if you have new jerseys arrive afterwards, it's your responsibility when you distribute them to make sure that they are distributed accordingly. Hopefully that answers that. Parent meetings, everybody needs to have a parent meeting. Everybody needs to have a parent meeting, please. You need to communicate your expectations for your team, for your practices, for your sportsmanship, for your playing time, everything that you need to have, and you need to make sure that they understand the CYO rules. You need to make sure they understand what their child gets to do by being a part of your amazing team. They also need to understand the expectations for behaving in the stands. And not to follow up too much on the Jamboree, but we had parent issues during the Jamboree as well. Parents, talking to other parents in a confrontational way. Please explain to your parents that you as a coach can get a bench technical for their behavior. If they are ejected, they can't watch their child for the rest of the season. So set the tone in a very positive way and let them know how excited you are. Small team, big team, boys, girls, it doesn't matter. You're there to have a positive experience for the season and hear all the wonderful things that they can do to help support you in that parent meeting. So make sure that takes place prior to your first game. Please try not to do it, the 5 minutes as you're trying to get in during warmups. Just keep them after for 10 or 15 minutes after a practice. Let them know kind of what you're doing. And if in that parent meeting you have expectations for practice attendance or whatever it happens to be that, decides who your starters are or whatever, let the parents know what your expectation is. That way everybody is on the same page and there are no, internal conflicts within the teams. Just be transparent and positive and get everybody ready for a great experience. With that, I'm going to turn it over to John to talk about uniforms.
All right, yippee, uniforms. All right, first thing, the CYO follows the NFHS rules. That's the National Federation of High School Athletics, and we have a lot of special rules that don't fall under that, but anything else that's not covered in our special rules would be following NFHS, which is uniforms. I've seen some really great uniforms for approval this year, so it looks like a lot of clubs are getting new uniforms. That's really, really cool. We don't allow any jewelry, earrings. That's NFHS as well. I know there was a little issue between volleyball and basketball, but basketball is no jewelry. So also dark jerseys or black would, or your primary color would be the away team, white jerseys, home team, if there's any issue, the referees should be able to look at their schedule in Reftown. It should have the home team and visitor, but be prepared as with your uniforms to have the right ones. When I say be prepared, t-shirts, probably the biggest headache that we have. It's pretty simple. It's not part of the uniform. So if it's worn, it's an option and it needs to match. So if you have a red body of the uniform, it has to be a red t-shirt. If this year, though, that we have a new rule for dark colors, because it's hard to sometimes find certain colors. They allow in NFHS black to be worn as a alternate color. Okay, but the rule doesn't change. If they're wearing t-shirts, they all have to match. So you can't have half the team in red and half the team in black. They all have to be one of those two colors with your dark side. Of course, white would, white t-shirt. I would recommend to your parents at the parent meeting, the best way to handle this is if their child chooses to wear a t-shirt under their uniform, they need to get two and carry in their bag to every game, just in case, because most of the clubs that I've seen over the years all now have reversible jerseys. So just make sure they're prepared for that. The officials are just going to rule on who's home and who's visitor, and they will pick a color, or you guys will pick a color if they have a black and another color. You can only have one color. The other thing that we hope is taken care of, I believe, and Aaron, you can jump in if you know, but we should be all done with the illegal numbers. We should not. I haven't seen anything. Last year, I think there was a couple of clubs that were dealing with some issues, but those days are over. So if they're caught with an illegal uniform, they will have to remove it or get some tape to cover it up. But I'm not even sure if we're going that far with the tape. Are we, Aaron?
Everybody should have legal numbers. We've talked to the ADs about it. I'm not aware of any situations.
Yeah, and so just so you know, we do get complaints about still having it, and it's fair. And that is a technical if you have an illegal number. So understand, and every approval that went through this year, that's something that came up. We just mentioned that make sure the vendor knows what an illegal number is. Okay, but if they do have them on, they'll have to remove them. So that's it for uniforms.
Okay. Well, CYO is expanding. I'm thrilled that we have St. Vincent de Paul from Salem joining our program this year. They have a hot shots team and some fourth grade teams that are going to be joining us. So I want to welcome, if you're on here from St. Vincent de Paul, thank you for joining us, and we're excited to have you in our program. The other people that I would like to welcome and introduce everybody to is our basketball commission. On tonight, I've seen a ton of them on there, but Mo Atchison is our basketball commissioner. She is our head chair of our commission, and so she's the one leading our team, along with John Cook, Pat Thompson, Jerry O'Brien, Joe Pisaneschi, Patty Jane, Becky and Chris Kalin. We just have a phenomenal team of people. You may have seen them out on the Jamboree. They were there observing games at multiple gyms. They also led a coaching clinic at the beginning of the season for beginning and intermediate coaches, and I'm very, very grateful to them for all of their hard work. And one of their main responsibilities is also putting together the divisions. So I want you to know we had, again, 2 weekends of Jamboree. Therefore, the Monday nights, commission spent over 3 hours, both Mondays, putting together the divisions for the season. So we are really trying to focus on a blue division, a green division, and an orange division. It was worked top down. So who are the top 8 teams that would be good in a blue division, and then the next down to the green, and the next down to the orange. So you'll find that there are a couple in the older grades that may not have an orange division. That's simply because we had enough teams to make a blue and a green. So don't be surprised if you see that. And I want you to know that all of your opinions and recommendations were taken into consideration, along with last year's results, how the team was doing, number of players, how they did at the Jamboree, not just the score, but lots of reports from officials and our mentors and our commission who were there at the games that, again, are trying to help put equal and equitable divisions together. So I appreciate all of their hard work. We do have a couple that have buys and double headers. So please remember that when you're looking at your location on Team Sideline, buy is not a location. Buy means you do not have a game that weekend, and look for your double header on a different weekend. I think we only have maybe 4 or 5 divisions this year that have an odd number. So again, the commission worked really hard to put together some big divisions so people have a variety of teams to play. This year we have a different system for our seeding. So week 6 will be the last game before 3rd and 4th grade are seeded for the championship. But this year we are extending the seeding week to week 7. So 5th through 8th grade, because you play later in the tournament, we're counting 1 more week of games that will apply to where you are seeded for the tournament. So those dates are on this paper and on the calendar as well. So week 6 means we will be doing the seeding for 3rd and 4th grade on Monday, February 12th. And we will be doing the seeding for 5th through 8th grade on Tuesday, February 20th. So make sure that if you have any cancellations or anything, you make up those games ahead of time so they can count towards your seating. I just had a scorekeepers training with over 80 people on there. So it was great to be able to talk through some of the rules that John's going to talk about. But one of the things that we did cover is that you need to make sure that all of your players play in at least 4 full games. Not showing up at halftime or the end of the first quarter. They have to be there for 4 full games, or that child cannot participate in the tournament at the end of the year. So please make sure you're tracking that and planning accordingly. For gym locations, we're thrilled that all of our gyms are open for all grades this year. So please look carefully. The schedules are on Team Sideline. After the meeting, they will go live. You just simply click the location link and it will take you straight to the location of where your game is. They will not upload automatically into your team site. So if you're choosing to use the calendar function, you need to upload those yourself because everybody has different ways of communicating. And again, they won't be live until after the end of the meeting. Then you'll be able to go over, look, and again, if you are looking under a particular color, just look under all 3 colors until you find your team name and take a look at the schedule. If you are playing St. Vincent de Paul, those divisions, the teams in those divisions will be making 1 trip to Salem for their game. And we're excited to have them. We're excited to continue to expand, and we appreciate all of your help. Some coaches did give recommendations, actually several dozen coaches gave recommendations for scheduling conflicts or coaching multiple teams. I'm so impressed with how many people are coaching multiple teams. And I just want you to know that I worked really hard to make sure that we gave you plenty of travel time between your games as best as possible. There are a lot of factors that go into the schedule. So hopefully you have an assistant coach that can help if there's a small overlap. But I did work really hard, but we had several dozen coaches coaching multiple teams, which shows there's a lot of hard work out there, and we really appreciate it. Okay, so going into the rules a little bit, the first part that I want to cover is we do have some combined teams. So I want to make sure you remember that if you are a combined team, so for example, you have a team with 6th and 7th graders, everybody on your team must follow the rules for the grade that you're playing in. So in this circumstance, if they're playing in a 7th grade division, they have to follow the 7th grade rules. Even if they are a 6th grader, they have to follow the 7th grade rules. So follow the one for the grade that you're in. And as Sister said at the beginning, we do have minimum playing time. The commission will be out every weekend at multiple gyms. They have already assigned their on-call weekends. I send them different directions, and one of the things that they will be tracking is playing time. So whether you have a small team or you have a large team, it's mathematically possible for every player to hit their minimum playing time. So your job as a coach is to make sure, please, that if you are in 3rd through 6th grade, that every one of your players gets a minimum of 7 minutes of playing time in the game. And if you are a 7th or 8th grade coach, they get a minimum of 8 minutes of playing time. Please remember that even if you have multiple teams in one grade and gender, you cannot share players. You cannot have a player fill in on another team. Once they are registered and they are on that team, rostered on that team, jerseyed on that team, that is the team they're playing with for the whole season. You cannot play on multiple rosters. Coaching wise, you're allowed 2 coaches and an intern coach on game day. That includes warm-ups, that includes anybody helping at timeout, whatever it happens to be. Again, these are badged coaches. Even if you are an intern coaches will have badges as well, same color, showing that they completed all the certifications. And make sure that you're staying within your coaching box and that you have 1 coach standing at all times. You should not have multiple people standing and pacing up and down during the game. 1 head coach is allowed to stand. John is going to take over the second half of the rules, especially with the rule changes.
All right, I'm going to actually jump in on one because it's very popular in the chat. With the t-shirts, okay, with the dark jersey, your away jersey, you can wear whatever the body of the uniform is. If it's red or green, you can wear t-shirts. They all have to wear that color. You can wear a color that matches the body. If you do not have, you can't find that type of green, you are allowed to all wear black. Okay. If you are at home for your home jerseys, they are white. You have to have a white t-shirt. Okay. Seems to be some misunderstanding about maybe wearing black under the white. No, not allowed. So two t-shirts. Okay. Again, it's an optional item. So let's see. And then leggings and sleeves. You are allowed to wear leggings and sleeves, but they must be one of 3 colors: black, white, or beige. Okay, and they all have to be the same color for the team. If you have 1 kid in red, if that's what they want to wear, then red's the color for the team. So can't mix and match those either. All right, just like the t-shirts, they are optional items. They're not part of the uniform. Okay, just want to clear that up. All right. The 3rd through 6th grades can shoot from free throws at the modified line. That's the line that's like 3 feet inside. I will probably answer this one a little quicker. I get this all the time. Well, what if I want my kid who's in 6th grade or 5th grade or even 3rd grade, I don't care, to shoot from the regular free throw line? Not a problem. Anything behind the modified line and back for those grades, you can shoot from half court if you want, but it has to be behind the modified line. So we do not care where you shoot it from as long as you're behind the modified line. If you have a referee that tells you you have to stand at that line, let me know. Let's see, differences between Cub and Cadet. Is that attached, Jenna? They can see that?
I'm going to cast it 1 second.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go into the let's see, the no overtime for 3rd grade during the season. No overtime at all. Just for everyone else, review the rules on overtime. Please do that. Connor's casting. What was the other one? The 25-point rule. Oh, here we go. This is a good little reference to use. I have my officials, they keep this on their phone. Some sites have it on the table, but this is a good reference. But new this year, I guess that's where I'm going to cover this. Only man-to-man defense is allowed for 3rd through 6th grade. So if you were a 4th grader, had a 4th grade team last year, now you have it for 5th and 6th. If you were 5th last year and you're 6th, yeah, everything's changed for you because you could do different things last year. Now it is complete 3rd through 6th grade, man-to-man only, no zone defense, no isolation offenses. I can go into that a little bit deeper if you want to stick around and ask me questions on that afterwards. I'll be in here for a while. Teams are only allowed to play man-to-man backcourt press during the 3rd and 4th quarters. If a team leads by 15 points or more, they are not allowed to backcourt press. Infractions for illegal defense or offense will result in first a bench warning, second thereafter a bench technical. Anyway, there's plenty on this. I'm reading this. It's all in the book on the rules, but if you have any questions, you can stick around and ask me that. People ask if you can do help defense. Yes, help defense and switching is allowed. You just can't have two kids at the same time defending one player with the ball. So that's how I instruct my officials to look for it. With the zone defense, or what looks like a zone, my officials are looking for mainly the kid that's standing in the middle of the key, not paying attention, has no idea where the person that they're guarding is, and just following the ball and going to a help position, but they're not even paying attention. They have to actively know where their person that they're defending is, and so they're looking for that. I will be honest and tell you this, that they're focused on a lot of things and they're looking for specific things. If you see something like that happen, use the timeouts or in between quarters or at halftime to, talk to the officials or, have a conversation. But like anything, yelling it from the sideline during the play is not the time to do it. But bring it to their attention and they'll look for it. But there's a lot of other stuff that they're looking for. And, we added this in. This is a CYO rule, so it's a little hard to call at times. Have some patience. All right, I think I'm done with this, Connor.
John, there's some questions, John and Aaron, some questions in the chat regarding defense. Do you want to go over those now?
That's sure. That's fine. I haven't seen them yet. I've been talking. So if you can give me if I can get the agenda back up too. Can you read them off, Jenna? Are you there?
Yeah. How close do the defenders need to be to their man in man-to-man?
With the ball, if they have the ball.
Well, I think give a general scenario of when they have the ball and when they don't have a ball.
Well, I think, I'm going to break it down. If you took a line straight down the center of the court, you can play in a help defensive position. You don't have to chase. If the ball is, I'm using my hands, I don't have anything else to use, but if the ball is completely on one side of the court and you're talking about the defender that is not defending the ball, anybody that's away from the ball, and their player is clear on the opposite side of the court, we don't expect them to, there's no expectation that they chase that player around everywhere on the court. So this is another point that I get across to the officials, and hopefully they all understand, but we're still teaching a bunch of them, but there's not an expectation that you have to be right up on your man, even 6 feet if the ball's clear across the court. If they're separated by, the whole width of the court, you would be normally in a help position with that. You could tell your kids to have 1 foot in the key. What I'm talking about, though, is what you have to do is see ball and see man. So you have to be open and you have to have your eyes on where your defender is and where the ball is. So hopefully I'm answering that question okay, but it's a little difficult, but there's no expectation that everybody's guarding their man all over the court or at all times. So what else, John?
Is double team trap allowed in the cadet 7th and 8th grade?
Okay, yeah, sorry, I kind of went over cadet in 7th and 8th grade just because everything is allowed. It's just like regular high school rules. The only special rules, if you saw that when it was on the screen, are for our, when we can press, the 25-point rule and things like that. But other than that, they can do everything. Zone defense, zone trap, the whole kitchen sink. So, or whatever I'm trying to say. What else?
Can one person press even if there are multiple players in the backcourt?
One person pressing the ball or chasing the ball?
I'm pressing the ball, probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's the 3rd and 4th quarter and it's 3rd through 6th grades in the second half, you can have one person full court man. Yeah, no problem there. If that's not the question you're asking, please resubmit it.
And we can do a lot of these questions at the end. And press is okay in the first half for the cadet levels. So for 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah, it's regular standard basketball. Right from the opening tip, you can press the whole game. All right, I'm going to move on to these. Technical fouls, ejections, we didn't track those in the past. The technical fouls, we will be, along with the ejections, of course. And this kind of happened over the weekend, but if an adult is ejected from the game, they must leave the building, court, gym, or field immediately. If an athlete is ejected, they are restricted to the bench area for the rest of the game or meet. It's in the sports manual, page 11. Mainly that has to do with the fact that they're, under 18, and we don't want to necessarily kick them out and not have any supervision. So, and then of course the next item was no zone defense, and I just talked about that. And I would tell you that that is something that the commission has been discussing for years, and we get a lot of emails, and probably one of our biggest topics that I hear when I'm out and about with the zone. So we're doing it. We expanded it this year. So, all right, new NFHS rules this year. This is probably the biggest one. It's a game changer if you're a big fan of women's college basketball, when they went a few years ago to 10-minute quarters, and they changed the foul situation. So NFHS has done that as well. There is no 1-and-1. The 1-and-1 is gone. So that the bonus now is 2 free throws, and that's after on the 5th team foul of each quarter. And those reset every quarter. So in the previous years, we did 7, and it was accumulative from the first half, and then we zeroed it out and for the second half and started again. And then we had the double bonus in both halves if you got to 10. Now we go immediately after 5 and a quarter to what is basically the old double bonus. You get 2 free throws. So no more 1-and-1. I'm going to tell you that we're going to have probably an issue. People are going to forget that. Most of the kids that referee for us are just used to playing that way, and maybe they're not playing. That's why they're refereeing this year. Just remind them, it's not a big deal. The scorekeepers got the information today, so we shouldn't have too much of a problem. But that is the new rule for this year, and it actually is a big one. So, all right, we're going to get done in an hour, sister. I'm just going to wait around for the additional hour afterwards.
Yeah, so to follow up on that, just so coaches are aware, if you didn't attend the scorekeepers training that took place right before this, I did show everybody a score sheet with the quarter tracking for the fouls. It's different than obviously the half court or the half tracking before. I have made a photocopy under the basketball resource section. So there's now a basketball resource tab on our website that has a copy not only of a blank score sheet, but of the Google slideshow that I used when training scorekeepers tonight. Again, there were over 80 scorekeepers tonight, which was awesome. And this is one of the main things that we talked about. So if you are using an older book, one of the suggestions when I was at Bashers today is that some schools have used stickers just to put over that section so they can track the fouls by quarter instead of by half a little bit easier. But if you are using a brand new book and you're purchasing them through, one of the sporting sites, they are already set accordingly. So I showed them earlier, and you'll see it online. This is the book that we got from Bashers. Probably looks really familiar, and it's already set up accordingly to hopefully help everybody. But again, if you're using old books, their suggestion was just to put a little sticker across to be able to track it by quarters a little bit easier. With this, I'm going to kind of tie in, John touched base on the 25-point rule. Last year, every time there was a score that was reported with more than 25-point win, we always reached out to the athletic director to connect with the coach to find out kind of what happened, what strategies they took to eliminate such a big blowout. And I'll be addressing this with coaches in an email prior to the first game. But you need to make sure that the scores are reported accurately. So in the scorekeepers training, I've asked both the scorekeeper to check in with the other scorekeeper before the end of the game to make sure. When a score is reported incorrectly, it makes it look like a bigger win than it really was. It's important that it's accurate for many reasons. And the way you record that is you'll get an automated email. Obviously, both teams will get the email because the system will not know who wins or loses until a score is reported. So you should be getting that email on the first day. Every once in a while, there is a glitch. I do the best that I can, but if you do not get the email, just simply let me know that you didn't get an email and I'll double check and make sure that you'll get it. But you enter the information on there, your team name, the winning team, the losing team, the scores, and so forth, and that will update to Team Sideline. It is your responsibility to make sure that the score is correct, and it is your responsibility to please make sure that the correct winner is designated the correct winner. I won't know. There's, 140, 150 games a week. So I'm going by whatever is recorded on that score. So if you accidentally flip-flop the scores, look very closely at who the home team is and who the away team is. Just because you're playing in someone's gym does not necessarily mean that they are the home team for that game. That might mean that they are the away team and you were the home team, but your gym wasn't available that day. So you're in their gym. So make sure you're putting the correct numbers under the correct team, under the correct home and away slots, or it will record your score backwards. And then it gives the wrong team the win. And then, everything happens from there. So the winning coach will be the one to report it. If you get another reminder, that means someone didn't report it. If you get another reminder, most likely on a Tuesday, that means still someone didn't report it. And eventually, if you can just report the score to get it finalized, that would be great. Otherwise, I end up contacting the EDs and then they have to contact the coaches. So just everybody work together to make sure that it's done. And please communicate with me if you don't get that automated email. Okay, questions from the chat?
Well, now I've got a couple things to add real quick. Sorry.
Okay.
In the other popular topic that we hear about is the referees shooting baskets and kind of goofing around, which is distracting to the players, especially at the younger levels when they see the big high school kids dunking the ball or shooting threes, and coaches are trying to coach. So if you have a referee that a couple things shows up and refs with their shirt untucked, hats on or hoodies on, any of that, please let me know. My email is in the sports manual, or you can get a message back to me through Aaron or your AD. But I want to know, also, it's very difficult. It's very challenging when we require the players to have their uniforms tucked in and my officials don't. So that is one thing I really want to know when it's happening. So please let me know. And yeah, there's a lot of chat stuff. So if someone wants to wrap it up, I'll stick around, or do you want me to start doing the chat stuff now?
I'll just answer really quickly that yes, schedules will be posted on the website. You'll see the links are already set up on the website, but they won't be turned on until our meeting's done. That was one of the chat questions.
All right. Does somebody want to say the number 16, and then I'll get into the chat?
Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, I want to thank everybody.
I'll say Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody. I understand that you're into your winter break. I understand that a lot of people are working really hard, getting their teams ready to go. I hope you're enjoying your holiday. You've got some fun things planned and they're ready for the new year, but we're very excited. We're very grateful and very thankful to have all of you here. We have so many teams, so many coaches, so many kids, and just lots of wonderful, positive opportunities for the season. So we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. We're excited to see everybody in the new year. The office will be closed starting midday Thursday all the way through next week. So if you have, something immediate that has to be answered, definitely contact your athletic director. Otherwise, we will respond to all questions and inquiries when we're back in the office right in the new year. But if you feel like you have all your answers to all your questions, we wish you a good night. We'll post everything as soon as we're done. And if you want to stay on and go through some specific scenarios, I know there's a couple on here. We'll be able to stay on as long as we need to make sure you have all the answers to your questions. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Have a good night if you're logging off.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.